Here, have these. Oh, thanks. So, where did these come from then? Either Audrey Hepburn, Burn, or Pythagoras. Really? Fine, they're mine. It was when I was going for a phase. That makes sense.
So these rappy creatures mentioned something about the timeless child to the Doctor, who doesn't know anything about it, and they kind of just mentioning just out of nowhere. I'm sure it's not important. I'm sure it'll never be brought up again. It's probably just something they're just saying. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Doctor Who Series 11, Episode 2, The Ghost Monument. So, after the pretty great starts to Series 11 with The Woman Who Fell to Earth and the great starts of the 13th Doctor's era, how do we follow up with that? Well, we've got The Ghost Monument. The Doctor has still not found her TARDIS yet, and that's what this episode is going to be about. Her trying to find her TARDIS, but also bring her new companions along in order to try and get them home, whilst also trying to avoid the dangers of this planet called Desolation, which has been taken out of orbit for some reason, probably due to the TARDIS. And they're also with these two people who are the last two people of this intergalactic rally, and they all have to try and get to the Ghost Monument, which is in fact the TARDIS, in order for the winner to escape the planet, and for the Doctor and her friends to go back into time and space. And that's basically the plot of the Ghost Monument. It sounds very short and simple. And that's because this episode is a pretty simple episode. There isn't really an awful lot of... there are a couple of twists and turns, but there's not really an awful lot of confusion. It's quite a simple story, and also quite a bit of a slow-paced story. And to be honest, I did find that okay. I thought this was a nice, relaxing episode. However, we did have a bit more of a slower-paced episode last time with The Woman Who Fell to Earth. This one actually feels like it's even more of a slower pace, apart from some action scenes, which is a bit odd, really. But you know what? I'm down with another slow story if that means we get more faster-paced stuff later on. This is just a nice, calm, and relaxing story. I felt absolutely relaxed, and this isn't an overreaction to the fact that I wasn't really a fan of Twice Upon a Time. I'm not gushing over these two episodes because that episode, Twice Upon a Time, wasn't very good. I'm not going to gush over these two episodes because of that. No, like I said at the end of the last review, I'm being fair, honest, and critical. So, yeah, I'm being fair on the Ghost Monument. I found it very easy, relaxing, and just fun to watch. Yeah, it's a bit of a slow story, but I found it easy to relax. I can understand if people can't get into it because it's a bit of a slower story, not really much does happen. But if you just sit back, relax, and watch some telly, it's fine. It's fine. I enjoyed it personally, and I think you might just find it, yeah, it's alright, if you just sit back, relax, and don't think about it. But I can understand if you don't like it, because it's a bit dull. Oh, and as to wrap up the cliffhanger from at the end of the last episode, the four main characters get picked up by the two supporting characters of the episode, respectively. The girls are picked up by the Epso, played by Sean Dooley, who, funny enough, took a photo of Jodie Whittaker on location when filming this episode, and that's what was used to make this poster, which now appears on the Series 11 steelbook, and they probably added this bit on at the back as well for the companions, unless Sean Dooley also took that picture. But yeah, that was pretty cool, and he only took it on his phone, and it became a cinematic picture. It's a pretty cool poster. It's not the best steelbook artwork for the steelbook collections. It might be one of the weaker ones, but it's still a really nice picture and a snazzy poster. When it came out, it was really nice looking and pretty cool. We've also got another character whose name escapes me. It begins with an A, but it's a female character who scoops up Ryan and Graham. I do have a critique around this point, though. When they do get onto the planet, and then Epso and the Doctor and Yaz are coming down on their spaceship, and it's coming crashing towards Graham, Ryan, and the I'm just calling her A because that her first name begins with an A, and towards A, and they run forward, and it's the same thing that happens in Prometheus, where they just run forward. You've got all the space to the side. You can run to the side, and you'll avoid the crashing spaceship. On the plus side, it visually looks stunning. In fact, this whole opening of the episode is brilliant. This is under a new director. I can't remember who, but the director of this episode does a brilliant job with the opening of this episode. There's this one bit where Yaz getting out the pod, and there's for about a minute, maybe just less than a minute, there's a one-take shot, and it works so good. Yeah, it does stop being a one-take shot after a few minutes, about a minute or just under a minute, but it's still a really nice shot, and it works really well into the fast-paced action of the start. Yeah, the start actually does have some fast-paced action, come to think of it. So it's not all slow. There's actually quite a bit of sort of fast-paced stuff in the episode. Same with Woman Who Fell to Earth, and it just works really well with building up this action adrenaline at the start of the episode. Probably why everyone needs a bit of a relaxation afterwards before we get to the next action bit. We also have one other supporting character in the form of I can't remember his name, but he's played by Art Malik, and he's this absolute dick of a rally guy. I mean, an episode starts off as a dick as well, but over time he'll mellow into a pretty decent guy at the end, at the very least, or at least an okay guy. And A is a pretty good person, but Art Malik's character is an absolute dick. He just doesn't give a fuck. He's organising this race. He's going to pay the winner once they get to the end, and he has these rules, but that's really about it. And he doesn't give a fuck about the Doctor and the companions. He doesn't care. He's just this rich guy and just doesn't care about anybody else, which sort of ties into Epso's philosophy. Except Epso does go on a character arc, whilst Art Malik's character is just there to be a dick. And to be honest, he's only needing to be there to be a dick because he just needs to be in 2 scenes. He doesn't have to go on an arc, or he doesn't have to be in too much of the story. He just needs to be there at the start, there at the end, and be a dick both times. That's all he needs to be, and that's all we get, and that was good. And Art Malik does a very good job being a dick. Well, he's playing a dick character. But yeah, A and Epsa are decent supporting characters, and it is good that we only have 3 supporting characters, one of which isn't even in the episode that much throughout this episode, especially as we'll get more and more supporting characters in more episodes. But yeah, it's pretty good to focus the story on the 4 main characters and only 2 supporting characters. So it's a bit more of an easy ride for the audience. That being said, there isn't a huge amount of character growth for our main characters. Yaz does mention something about her family, but that's about it. Ryan and Graham get some good stuff though, with some of Ryan's dyspraxia coming in, and also him taking a gun to shoot some sniper box in an action scene. And then realising, oh, that's not going to work, we better do what the Doctor says, sort of a situation. But yeah, there's some good stuff between Graham and Ryan and the supporting characters, but Yaz just is there to kind of talk to the supporting characters and only mentions her family briefly. The Doctor's still pretty good, as we saw in the last episode. It's kind of something along the same lines as what we got, but with the confidence of the character back, basically. After the post-regeneration stuff, the Doctor is back, and she's in her new incarnation, the first female incarnation. And yeah, she's still pretty good, to be honest. I still like Jodie Whittaker in this role. I still like the 13th Doctor. Yeah, there's still some room for development and some growth. But honestly, rewatching it, I like it. It could be better, but it's okay at the moment. So yeah, not too much to complain at the moment, but maybe we could have a bit more sprinkled in as the series goes on, but we'll see how it goes. It's also interesting that the planet Desolation actually has some tie-in with the Censer, of how the Censer used this as an experiment, used the planet's scientists to experiment with new weapons and defenses, and it ended up destroying the planet, and we got these new sniper bots, the microbes in the water, and these wrappings that try to kill people and are they are sentient, and also, fun fact, are voiced by Ian Geller, who will go on to play a villain in series 12 as well, a different villain. And he's also really great as the voice of these wrappings. So he's really great, and he's got some pretty great visuals with them as well. And it's pretty interesting that the camera will sneak off to sneakily pan to one of the wrappings to the side, and then later on we'll see, these things are they're actually important somehow, as they are the things that will attack at night time, as well as the cyberbots when activated. I mean, they're not the greatest villains of all time, but they're good for the episode we're in. They don't need a major villain in this episode. It's just a simple villain. You just have to avoid the planet, what's on the planet, and just try to get to this one place safely without having to get killed by any of these problems. It's just nice, simple, easygoing. And when they need the action, they will put the action and the excitement in. The ending was also really nice when the Doctor and the companions find the TARDIS, and we see the inside of the TARDIS, the new TARDIS, and it looks pretty nice. I mean, it's not the best TARDIS interior, but it's still really nice, and it's shot really well. It's a nice mixture of what we saw in the pilot when the TARDIS was revealed for the first time in that episode. How that was the camera panning back to reveal the interior. This one does something not too dissimilar, but also kind of mixing the 11th Doctor's first reaction to his TARDIS in the 11th hour into that as well. It works really well into this first shot, and it's quite a fun first scene inside this TARDIS, and everyone's reactions to it, including the Doctor, as it's the first time she's seen this new interior. This interior will get an update in Spyfall, but that will be next series. So we got this for a series, and it looks pretty nice. Like I said, it's not my favourite interior, but it's still a pretty good one. The exterior is also really nice, and that one might be one of my favourite exteriors, especially with the smaller ones, as it's starting to go back more like a traditional police box, which is pretty great, and yeah, it looks pretty nice. So, the Ghost Monument. I've been fair on this episode. It's actually quite a fun, easy ride. However, like I said, I can understand if people can't get into it due to being a bit slow and not really an awful lot happening, but there's some decent stuff and some decent character stuff in there, including our supporting characters. Just some good performances. I think Tosin Cole's a bit of a step up in this episode to the last one, and it's also an even more visually impressive episode with some stunning visual effects, and some stunning direction. Funny enough, most of this episode, I think outside of the studio stuff, was filmed in South Africa, which is where they also filmed the next episode, and it looks absolutely stunning and really nicely captured on screen, and really works for the planet's desolation, and looks absolutely amazing. And also Second Akinola's music is also really great here. This might even be the most simple story we've had in a while, and it still works to a degree. So I will be giving the Ghost Monument an 8 out of 10. Giving it a 7, but you know, it's just so relaxing that I just decide, you know, it can be an 8. I'm going to be nice and give it an 8, and you know what, not many people will give it this high of a rating, so yeah, I think it was good. It's not the greatest episode ever, obviously. It's not a 10 out of 10, so yeah, but it's a nice, easy, relaxing episode. Like I said, I understand if you can't get into this because it's a bit too slow or not much happens, but it's also because of those reasons that it actually has a bit of a strength to it. This is also the same score that has been the same since 2018, so yeah, once again, there hasn't been much of a change of opinion in terms of score, although I might like it slightly more on reflection, but score-wise, it's about the same. So that's the Ghost Monument, and I like how the TARDIS turns out to be the Ghost Monument. That's a really cool tie-in. Thank you for watching this review of this nice, easy-going episode of the series. Next episode, I am both looking forward to and dreading at the same time. I'm looking forward to it because it's probably my favourite episode of the Whittaker era so far, but I'm also dreading it because it's going to be one of the most difficult episodes to watch in terms of the themes and the message and the events of what happens in it. Next episode, Rosa, which is about Rosa Parks and the start of the American civil rights movement. Yeah, the next review is not going to be a fun one, but it will probably be very positive. Probably. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it won't be a fun one to talk about, guys. due to the subject matter. But then again, you've got to have the difficult subject matters in some stories. So thank you for watching my review of The Ghost Monument, and I'll see you guys next time for my review of Rosa. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the Nicholas Payne YouTube channel. And I would say, and this isn't an overstatement, and this isn't because I'm honestly, so basically, it's so it's not all slow and not easy, and it works really well. Anyway, so we get to this tent, at least the character does anyway. And it is good that we've only, after so many, and it is good that we actually only have 2 supporting characters in this episode. Well, 3 if you can't. And it is good that you only get 2, 3 if you count Matt, oh shit. Especially as we'll get more and more supporting characters in future episodes. I'm looking at you, Series 12 finale. It's and yeah, they're pretty decent, and some pretty cool stuff. So yeah, this is just a simple, easy ride of a story, but it's still a pretty good interior. It's pretty. So we've got this for like I said, it's not why, and that. Not to mention, which is nice. So overall, I thought The Ghost Monument was a very good episode. I can understand people not being so keen on it because it is a bit of a slower one, but for me personally, it was a nice, easy, relaxing episode with some stunning visuals and some great, some good performances and some great visuals. With some stunning visuals and some good performances and characters doing it, just trying to get across this dangerous planet and avoiding the threats. That's it. It doesn't need to be too much complicated. In fact, so I will be giving The Ghost Monument seal. Thank you for watching this nice, easy. Next episode, Rosa. Next episode, Rosa. Next episode, Rosa. Next episode, Rosa. Yeah, next one, it's not going to be yeah. But yeah, it won't be a very easy one to talk. But then again, you're going to have subject matter, and so, yeah. Let's just see if we can get through it as much as possible. Yeah, that's kind of it. Anyway, thank you, and I'll see you guys next time for my review of Rosa. Thank you for watching.